One of the biggest hurdles for first-time homeowners is, to price the high cost of apartment units and home construction. I took a garden walk with Vincent Agaba, a board member of the Uganda National Housing Finance Bank and an expert in real estate. He shared insights on how unlocking large chunks of land held by individuals or institutions could be key to making housing more affordable.
Yeah, mortgages is actually the financing for real estate in principle. You get the bank, you get the money, and the purpose is just to acquire a property or just own a house.
Not just any bank.
Exactly, but you can go to Housing Finance Bank, of course,
Yes.
and of course it is the longest bank have been around. But the point here is that there are also two types of mortgages. You can have actually the mortgage, traditional mortgage, but we have also what we call micro housing finance. Micro housing finance also is aligned to what we call the microfinance aspect of the product.
Yeah.
So the underwriting, which we call the assessment of the borrower, is different. Because when you're talking about microfinance, you are willing to take more risk because you're looking at even the business of the person, income, and all these kind of things. When we are talking about mortgages, we are talking about collateral, security. You must have a property that actually you put in order to be able to get some money from the bank and then get the next property. Once you know you have finance and you have what we call a cash steady income coming in, now you need to know about your amounts and then also be modest about the type of property that you need. Because if, for example, I need a traditional mortgage, I'm looking at, for example, 200 million and above, then that's a different client and they should have income per month that actually speaks to that amount. If I'm having, for example, a salary of about 1 million shillings per month, then I'm going to go for micro-housing finance lending. For example, the Housing Finance Bank, you have what we call Zimba Mpola Mpola. That's a product whereby I can go and borrow money and do a foundation stage. Then pay off the foundation stage, you go back and borrow for a wall plate, and then go back and borrow for roofing. But when you're talking about traditional mortgage, that's when you are also already having a security. You have either land already, you already have another house, and you're trying to buy another house. And that requires you really to go also having cash flow, salary or some rental income and so forth to back up what you're borrowing. A beginning person, my advice is, let's start modest.
And every time we talk about arrangements like mortgages and stuff like that, people, their minds will rush to interest rates. What is the average, industry average rate for mortgages, for people looking to develop?
No, Malcolm, the interest rate is driven by some factors.
Of course.
Yes. Because there is what we call the general factors, the export versus import of the country. So the more you import as a country, and the less you export, that puts pressure on your actual reserves in the country and also on your actual value for the shilling. And that also drives your risk as a country. And when that risk comes in, what happens is that you've got to borrow money as a bank from somewhere else to come and lend it locally. Immediately that will raise your cost of borrowing as a bank in order to be able to lend. But I want to make one other point. When you're looking at the housing construction value chain, you're looking at the land, you're looking at the construction money, and you're also looking at the demand. I can assure you, land takes about 30% of the cost. Then you're playing around with 70% to do with the construction materials, to do with the profit appetite, and also the demand. Now, if you don't have parcels of land that are held in lump sum, then supply becomes a problem. Then what you're going to see is developers building 50 apartments here, building another 100 there, and so on. But in principle, we should have land that actually you can offload 1,000 apartments. Now, what do you do when you get that? You enjoy what we call economies of scale.
In just a few days, utility firm UMEME will exit the market. I spoke with our resident capital markets expert, Stephen Kaboyo, about the implications available or the exit strategies and what local shareholders should expect. Plus, we'll break down how to buy shares on the stock market later.
As you know, UMEME is a public held company with Ugandan retail investors. It's a utility stock, quite appealing to the markets. The stock price has been very, very stable. The last trading day, which was early in the week, 415 shillings per share. Very stable. And you know, the interesting part of it, even at this stage, the market is not yet in panic to say what is likely to happen or the price dip or something.
And it's still one of the best performing counters.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, today, as we stand, it's not quite certain which approach will be used. Now, technically, from a technical standpoint, there are always three approaches for either a merger, takeover, or acquisition. And this there is what we call all-in cash payout, which means a company that is being acquired, there is a predetermined amount of money that is paid to shareholders for them to be able to go home, so to speak. The second approach is what we call all-in stock approach, where shares of the existing company or the company that's being acquired are passed over to the company that is taking the acquisition. Then the last one, which is not very popular, is a hybrid of cash and stock. So you get a portion of cash of shares, and that would be the third approach. But today, as we speak, it's not quite certain which exit mechanism will work. So the expectations in the market is that there will be a dividend announcement closer to the day that will give direction to how these shareholders will be treated.
Why are we not seeing a settlement, a healthy settlement, where this power company that has operated here for more than 20 years, expiring soon, to just sit down with government and say, you know what, take what is yours and take what is mine? Where's the point of contention exactly? Why is this money not being raised? And I know that debt is going to be involved. Where is the complication?
I think we need to take it back a little bit. When you look at the expectations of government, when the energy sector was being liberalized, and UMEME's entry into the market, it was two or threefold. One is that end user tariff would probably come down. Two, invest in the grid, upgrade the grid. Three, increase connections. At the time of UMEME's entry in 2004, 2005, I think there were about 200 connections. To date, it's about 2 million. So that is a big plus. But when you look at, I think, when you look from the government perspective, UMEME has failed on us on their scorecard, in terms of being able to bring down the cost of energy, cost of electricity. The second one is a heavy return on investment. 20% return on investment over the last 20 years is a huge
it's more than fine cheese
return.
Yeah.
So I think concerns of government was that this company is perhaps reaping Uganda off.
Yeah, there was debate in Parliament as we wind up the escrow account. Many shareholders have a right to know what this account is. What does that mean? What was Parliament trying to discuss about the escrow account? What is that kind of money they're talking about?
The issue really is simple. The offshore investors, who hold about 78%, are not resident here. So they must get their profits in dollars abroad. So that's normal. So dividend payments for multinationals always happen. But I think the sensitivity around that goes back to what I said earlier, the huge return on investment, which when you balance it off or compare it with the benefits that UMEME has brought over the 20 years, don't seem to match.
Do you want to own shares in companies listed on the Uganda Stock Exchange? Of course, yes. We answer your questions on how to apply, open an account, and buy shares. This is Crested Capital, a member of the Uganda Securities Exchange.
The market's just resuming as the year starts. It will always have a slow beginning of the year. So Q1, then we boost it with there's a boost with figures, the financial releases that come out, and recently we've seen MTN Airtel release, and we expect more to come. So with those coming up, we shall see a peak in in trading on the exchange, as people are looking for earning a dividend on the various counters. And so far, at least the bourse has traded about 15 billion. That is shy of the 77 that was traded as end of last year. So we are seeing a peak in that. That's for Q1 trading.
What do I do in case I want to buy shares? Because people are looking at you now and they're saying, look, man, these guys are speaking outlandish things. If you want to buy a share, and I'm told there's a brokerage firm called Crested Capital or something like that. How do I invest in shares? How do I buy government bonds? How do I do this? I get these questions each and every day. What is the role of everyone in the capital markets to improve education, investor education? And so what do people do? Do I just come with money in my pocket? How do I open an account and stuff like that?
To trade in the exchange, you must have an SCD, a Security Central Depository account, that open, and it's easy to open. You can either open it on your phone, because you can dial the USSD. If I could be quick, it's *165 *6 hash on your MTN line, and you open it. Also on Airtel, you follow the same USSD and you open your account. Or you can open a trading account on the Easy Portal, the US Easy Portal. Or you can come physically to office and you fill in forms and open up that account and you start trading. And we always encourage investors to reach out to us, understand the market, understand what you are buying before you start investing. So, because the market is volatile, so you may enter in when everyone is excited about the price rises, and by the time you enter, the prices are going down and you may be disappointed. So we always encourage people to have the information. Why are you buying a particular stock? And it's very dangerous for you to invest without knowing what company you are investing in. Don't move with the masses.
So as of March 2023-2025, several companies listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange have shown notable performances. Airtel Uganda was up 63% year to date. Cipla Kochi Chemicals was up 34.6%, and Kakira Sugar was up 35%. Jubilee Holdings, or JHL, was up 28%. Stanbic Bank 19%. Centum Investments was up 20%. MTN Uganda recently appreciated by 3% to close at 257 shillings per share. That's as of March 19th, 2025. So despite all these positive trends on the stock market, liquidity remains a challenge for the stock market, which has one of the lowest liquidity levels in East Africa. Mark that, with the daily average trading volume of more than $5,000. It significantly lags behind Kenya's $1.5 million. However, interest in stock market investment among Ugandans is growing. We spoke to the team lead at Crested Capital, a member of the USE, as I said, on recent market developments and how you can participate. Next week, we'll bring you the latest on Uganda's oil and gas sector and the journey to commercialization so far. Follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. That's Business Now. My name is Malcolm Sime. Next up, NTV Tonight later in 30 minutes.